Well, good golly, why didn't you say something? I didn't see you there. Hey, what's up, everyone? It's your boy, Coco Goes Heavy, hitting you up with another workout video today. We're going to be destroying our back and biceps in this workout today. The back shots we're taking on these exercises is phenomenal. And we'll cook our biceps out a little bit too. But I hit this workout about a week ago in preparation for today, to make sure it was a really good workout. Normally I don't plan my workouts, but I wanted to really give you guys a good back day. This back day is phenomenal. We're going to be hitting I think 4 exercises for our back and then 2 exercises for our biceps. But the exercises for our back are some of my favorites. But enough chitter chatter, me blabbermouthing, yapping all about. Let's go ahead and get in there. Deuces.
All right, let's start off with our first exercise. We're going to be doing isolateral rows on the machine, plate loaded, of course. I like to be standing up and not seated down on the seat. I feel like I get a better power stance and I can do more weight. We don't want to be using any momentum. We need to be pulling that bar straight into our chest, using our lats and engaging them the whole time, making sure we're doing slow and controlled reps. We don't want to be swinging that weight around all over the place. But moving on to the next exercise, we are hitting machine row. Machine row is a great lat exercise. The key here, there's not really too much you can do wrong. Just make sure you got proper seat height and you're driving that weight all the way back. Really bringing those elbows back past your back, so to say. Really focusing on the drive, slow and controlled reps. Again, that's how we're going to be building our muscle, is time over tension. Time over tension, time over tension, time over tension. It's about how long we can move that weight. We're going to finish off with a few reps, and that's it for that exercise. On to our first bicep exercise, seated bicep curls. You're going to start with the weights facing towards your knees, and then bringing them up and rotating them. We can't start them off with them rotated because the legs get in the way, so that's why we have to rotate them at the top. If you're not rotating them, you're just essentially hitting seated hammer curls, and we're going to be hitting that later in the workout, so there's no need to be hitting 2 of the exact same exercise during a workout. So our next exercise is reverse cable flies, and this is going to be targeting our rear delts. Rear delts are a great muscle that everyone seems to neglect, and it's really going to round out your shoulders. The key on this exercise is you're going to keep your arms pretty much straight and locked, and you're going to pull that weight a little bit down and out away from you. I like to keep the cables a little bit, probably at least a couple rungs higher than shoulder width or shoulder height. That way I can really get the downward movement on the cable pulls. That's really going to activate your rear delts and really shape them off. This is a strictly no eye contact exercise. It's not one of my favorites to record, but it is one of my favorite to preform. This is a great exercise to isolate the lower lats. You're really going to get a great drive. Key here is to keep your head up at all times. Do not be looking down when doing your reps, and really drive that weight through your hips. Finally, we're hitting hammer curls to finish us off. Get our last bicep exercise in there. Key here is to kind of bring the weights in at a narrow V shape towards the middle of your chest. It's going to really help with the brachialis and grow that muscle to be much bigger. But we're only hitting a few sets of these. I was pretty cooked out, but let's go ahead and go over the workout. I didn't see you there. You guys gotta quit sneaking up on me. It's gross. Anyways, let's cover that great back exercise or back and bicep workout that I just hit for you. Let's go over the numbers or the deets, some might say. So first off, we started off with our isolateral row. I hit 6 sets of this total. I did 2 warm-up sets, 4 working sets. This is my first exercise of the lift. I'm going to do the most warming up then, because progressively throughout the lift, you should be, in theory, already warmed up. If you're hitting the same muscle groups, that is at least. But anyways, let's move on to the first weights. We're going to hit 135 for 12, 225 for 10, 275 for 9, 275 for 10, 275 for 9, and then 275 for 9. On this one, I felt like if I went up in weight, I wouldn't get as quality reps. So I just kept it around just kept going for 9. I think on 6, the ninth rep wasn't really a ninth rep, but we're going to count it. Sometimes you need a little dub for yourself every once in a while. But that covers that exercise. Let's move on to the next one, machine row. I really like the machine row for you can really control the weight on that. That's really kind of what machines are really for. You don't have to so much really focus on the form or anything like that. So they're great for if you're starting off in the gym. But I really prefer more free weights and cable stuff. Something you gotta engage and think about a little bit more than just the machine. But I really like the machine for the lats. I did 4 working sets with this. I was already warmed up pretty much from the isolateral row. But starting off, I did 180 for 12, 180 for 10, 180 for 9, and then 180 for 8. Welcome back from your brief intermission. For me, this has been torture. I recorded probably 6 or 7 different outros. There's been a problem with all of them. I'll just give you a few examples. The guineas, they wouldn't stop talking, so I had to re-record some stuff for that. Uh, my microphone died before recording. Didn't know that, and then when I went to play it back, 6 minutes of video, no audio. Another time, giant smudge. That's totally my fault. Just amateur rookie move. Giant smudge on the lens. So I looked like what would you think? What would be something comparable? Like I didn't defrost my windshield before heading out on the road, and it's 4 a.m. So that's how it kind of looked. The light was very blinding, but we're gonna move on. You guys didn't get to see some of my other personality. You didn't get to meet the rage monster, sort of say. I don't know what to call him. I get a little angry sometimes. I get a little itty bitty anger management issue. We're getting better. I've never gotten in trouble because of it, but like by myself, it comes out, and I'm trying to cage that animal and be not someone who is motivated by wrath. So last time we left off at the machine row, so we'll get back into it at seated dumbbell curl. I like seated dumbbell curl over like standing curls because I feel like when I'm doing a standing curl, I'm using momentum. So like when I'm standing, I kind of slightly, slightly, slightly use my legs to help move the bar up, and I don't feel like I'm kind of keeping it closer towards my body instead of further out there, really engaging the biceps. So I prefer seated because I don't feel like I'm using as much momentum or cheating the system, so to say. But I also can do more weight than the weight that I'm about to say, but I hit an arm day a couple days before. And we'll go further in. I'll give you a brief explanation about that. But let's cover the weights real quick. So I did 30 or 4 working sets total. So 30 for 10 for the first set, 30 for 9, then 30 for 8, and then 30 for 7. Back to what I was saying about the arm day. So that arm day wasn't technically a true arm day. Every couple of weeks, I'll have a day where I go through my past 2 weeks of workouts, compare the muscles that have been hit and what hasn't been hit. And I kind of hit a day where it's like neglected muscle day, is what I like to call it, or what we can call it. So on a neglected muscle day, I'm hitting muscles that I don't feel like I really gave that much attention over the last couple of weeks. And this day is to really focus on those muscles. So, and it's different every couple of weeks or so. So, like some neglected days, I'll do abs, traps, and biceps. And then the couple weeks goes by. Next time I'll hit triceps, calves, and hammies. Uh, there's no correlation between uh, doing anything like that. There's just the correlation is what hasn't been hit and what has been hit. So that's that. But I recommend throwing in a neglected day. You don't have to do it as often as I do, but it's just a good day to kind of target those muscles that you've not been focusing on. So, moving on from seated dumbbell curls, we move on to cable reverse flies. Cable reverse flies are a really good exercise to hit your rear delts. I feel like a lot of people are neglecting their rear delts. They're trying to grow their shoulders. They want them to get big and huge. So they're doing a lot of lateral raises, a lot of front raises, try to grow the front heads and the side head and stuff like that. And you're going to get your roundness from that rear delt. That rear delt's going to really help shape that shoulder because there's 3 different heads to the shoulder and you got to make sure you're hitting all of them. And I think rear delts is probably the most neglected out of all those muscles or out of all the heads on the shoulders. So always throw in a rear delt exercise during your back days. And then I would also throw in another rear delt exercise sprinkled somewhere else throughout the week. So at least hitting rear delts 2 times a week on exercises. So, but I would recommend more even. So, but so to cover the weights, we did 4 working sets, 40 for 10, 40 for 10, 40 for 10, and then you guessed it, 40 for 8. On to one of my favorite exercise. It's called straight arm pull down. I think that's what my progress tracking app does for me. Uh, they call it straight arm pull down. I've always called it just lat pullovers or cable lat pullovers. But this is one of my favorite lat exercises. It really engages the lats, and I don't feel like I've ever gotten like a fire in my lats from any other exercise. Like that I'm burning out. I'm using that muscle hard kind of pain, not the oh my gosh, it's gonna rip off the bone kind of pain, because that pain's not good. There's Let's take a brief minute. Let me talk to you about this. There is different types of pains in the gym. There's your good pains. There's your sore pain, like your soreness. That's a good pain. Feeling sore is a good pain. Uh, you're like when you're actually hitting the lift, like your muscles are getting tired. That kind of pain. That's a good pain. Like that fire stuff like that. Any kind of like tearing, stretching, like nah, that's not good. Like you need a pain is a good mediator in the gym. Uh, just don't be and if it's the or don't be a sissy if it's the my muscles are hurting because I'm hitting the lift hard. That means it's working, so keep going. But if you are getting like an actual like kind of terry fiery like this doesn't feel right kind of pain, you should probably stop and mess around with it. Uh, when I've ever had any problems or injuries in the gym, I just kind of usually just drop the weight and just kind of do my own PT sort of routine exercises and stuff like that. But I've never had anything where it's been torn. I may have tweaked or pulled a muscle a little bit, so I have to do some slow PT, but it's never been more than like a couple 2 to 3 weeks. So, but so we already went through straight arm pull down. So we at 140 for 10, 140 for 10, 140 for 10, and then 144. You guessed it, 7. Finally, our last exercise, our finisher. We're going to be finishing off with hammer curls, just because when we're hitting back and biceps, you at least got to get 2 of the exercise that's in the name of the workout. You back and bicep day is not a back and bicep day if you're hitting 4 back exercise and one bicep exercise. That's not a back and biceps that day. That's a back day with an arm workout. That's nothing. 2 exercises minimum for per focused body part. But we'll go over the weights, finishing off 4 working sets, 30 for 10, 30 for 10, 30 for 10, and 30 for 10. But that was all in all, that was probably one of my favorite back workouts I've hit. I've hit this a couple times now, this exact exercise or these exact lift with those exercises in that order. And I've just been hitting PRs after another. So I would highly recommend this lift. Let's go over it one more time with the exercises. Isolateral row, 4 working sets. Machine row, 4 working sets. Seated dumbbell curl, 4 working sets. Cable reverse fly, 4 working sets. Straight arm pull down, 4 working sets. And then hammer curl, 4 working sets. But that concludes today's video. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day. God bless and deuces.